8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Good morning to you. We are Island T. AZ, what's up? My man.
What's up? How are you doing, Gangster?
I'm doing good.
How's everyone in Radio Land?
You know, I find that really corny, actually.
I know the Radio Land comment in it.
Yeah, Radio Land is so corny.
I've heard it so many times.
I don't ever say that.
I've heard it so many times from people on the radio that I now say it today, this morning. You know, today is the 18th of May.
I associate it with gospel radio for some reason. They used to say
that. Radio Land, like when they have the morning devotions and everything, isn't it? Yeah, that's where I got it. At least you listen to gospel in the morning.
No, I had no choice as a kid.
I see.
And then the neighbors were blasting it, so you get hammered over the head with you know.
I'm sure you went to church as well.
Reluctantly.
Which denomination?
Methodist.
I figured I knew that answer.
You know.
There's so many Methodists out there.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I think a lot of the older people think that the more churches you go, somehow
the better your churchicality, to make up a word, like somehow it makes you a better person. Like the more church. So listen, I used to go Methodist. I used to go Methodist Sunday school, and I would go to the Kingdom Hall. Sometimes I'll go to the Kingdom Hall first, then go over to Methodist for... I'm not making this up, I'm serious. No, I know.
Then I would go over to Methodist for Sunday school.
Yes.
And then sometimes I used to go to the Kingdom Hall, like at 6 o'clock in the night. They used to be on Lozak Road at that time. You know where the football office is now?
Yes.
It used to be there. So,
okay.
Yeah, so then I would go there 6 o'clock with her. Kingdom Hall, and then on Saturdays I would go to Seventh-day Adventist Church with the neighbors.
That's good. Keep you grounded.
And that's not all. Then sometimes my mother, like when I was by my mother, my mother would send me to church with a neighbor who went to the Wesleyan Holiness Church. So I couldn't escape. Then summer, you know what I'm gonna say.
You had church Bible school for the summer. At the Methodist?
Further up.
At the...
Vacation Bible School.
Yeah, Antioch.
No, Moravian.
Oh, wow.
I think I went to the
I went to the...
and my mother used to send me sometimes. Oh, thanks for reminding me. She used to send me to Antioch on Sunday afternoons for the Sunday school.
Yeah. Well, similar with me, I used to go, I go Methodist. As a child, I go to Methodist church, and then in the afternoon, the Antioch Sunday school. I don't even know how we got started there. They used to come down to Old Road from Bastille.
With the bus, right?
With the bus, and conduct Sunday school.
Oh, you know about that.
And then afterwards, for the vacation, we used to go to the Vacation Bible School, the Antioch. Yeah. So
Trent now has never seen the inside of a church. Trent doesn't know what the inside of a church looks like.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe. Trent is scratching his head right now. The things Jams to say. So I had a quote this morning. It's from the late Queen Elizabeth II, and she said, "It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about lasting change. It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change." So that's something we can consider as we go through the day. Yeah. It is not the small steps. It is often not the small steps. It is often the small steps, sorry.
Yeah.
It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change.
Yes. So it's 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're expecting a call from the Nevis Tourism Authority at 8:15. So let's hope they're on point, because of course, we have point on the streets.
Yeah, we have a number of things to discuss. I mean,
and then we have all these other things to discuss. There's stuff going on.
Hopefully Vernon is up to speed and willing to answer them.
Oh, you mean you have stuff to ask him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Antigua always seem to be in some of the light in the region.
He can't. I know. He can't go off the reservation.
Yeah, that's the fun part about it. So,
well, full disclosure, let the listeners know, Vernon Springer works for Point FM in Antigua, which is owned by Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. They have a whole media house, newspaper, station, website, the whole thing.
He's making sure, Gaston is making sure that he gets, the airwaves as much as possible. And
it's nice to see Vernon squirm sometimes.
Especially when he can't say certain things, and you're like, okay, then how is he going to approach this now? I think the listeners enjoy that as well, knowing that you ask him some questions and you want to see his response.
You remember I told you a certain person had texted me one day and said, "Don't let Vernon get away with that."
Yes. Guys, it is CXC exams. They're here. And a lot of the students, the fifth farmers and the sixth farmers, they're sitting their exams. So we want to say best wishes to them as they sit their exams this morning and throughout the week and upcoming weeks. We encourage them to do their best, make the appearance themselves and their nation proud. CXC launches an investigation, though, into a possible math leak. So the Caribbean Examination Council...
what leak?
Math paper leak.
Yes.
Good morning.
Has launched investigations on learning of a possible paper leak on Wednesday.
Okay.
So in a press release issued late on Wednesday, CXC indicated it is aware of the concerns that the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Math Paper 2, which was written, was leaked. And we have CXC saying this, or official from CXC saying this. This matter is of great concern to us. We have commenced our investigations and will make a definite statement once the investigation is complete. In the meantime, candidates can rest assured that this matter is being treated with the highest urgency. End of quote.
My question is, though, did we ever go through anything like this? It's like the more technologically advanced we become, the
you
more
never had
things...
this situation?
No.
I remember...
They could have leaked it during my time, just before the exam, too.
I remember in my year, I did CXC, just to put the year there, 2006. And I remember either the year before me, my year, I think that there was a leak, and
Really?
it was down in the I think Trinidad area.
My sister was telling me that this is not the first time
It's
this
not the
has
first
happened.
time.
And apparently the leak happened in Guyana, because I actually saw a Facebook post about it this morning. I was like, oh my God.
I was thinking about that country as well, but I looked at you and I said, I'm not sure, but usually it's from those regions.
Not nice.
Don't be like that.
Not nice.
No,
I never heard of a leak before, but I heard this one was in
I'm
Guyana.
not attacking, but I'm just saying usually the leaks, because of those larger countries, they're very competitive. The schools are very competitive.
Listen, last year I think somebody wrote 27 subjects and got like 25 ones or some craziness
so
like
what
that.
you find is that persons in the larger areas, in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have one school, basically one in St. Kitts and one in Nevis. To do
maybe one
exam
exam center, because it's not the school. I think it's the region, because Guyana is 83,000 square miles.
No, what I'm saying.
So
the
papers have to be.
What I'm saying is that because the exam is so competitive back there, you want to be the top school, you want to be the top student coming from your school, the chances of leaking is great, because everybody is competing for that number one spot. And number one school, you have school actual competitions,
I wasn't saying it that way. I was thinking that, knowing the layout of Guyana, when the papers get there, they have to be distributed sometimes maybe by boat, by a small plane, to different areas, so that students can sit the exam. So the chances of it being leaked, I think, are greater, because some areas would probably have to get it like a day before the exam, just so that they can be ready for 8 o'clock exam sitting, right? So that was my interpretation of it, that it's a bigger region, whereas in St. Kitts, yes, it comes in maybe like a few days before, it's on the lock and key, and then they share them out like, the next
And
day.
then it's only one school in St. Kitts to share it out, and then you have the private centers, which is not as many as Guyana.
So.
Thing is, how do you leak a paper though? I mean, it
do you
almost
mean?
seems like meaning.
Exactly
You know,
what
you
Azard
get
said.
the papers
I
beforehand.
actually saw it this morning on Facebook.
You have the papers beforehand, and they're in, I think, some sort of box or something.
They're usually like in a seal
Yeah.
thing, because I've seen invigilators literally have to cut
cut.
it and save the seal and send it off and sign
So
up.
they're
this and
sealed
that.
and they're brought into the examination room, and there in the examination room is where you're supposed to cut the seal for the first time.
Right.
I guess some
But
persons,
like you're saying, that's also a good point. You know, the school wanting to be top, the teacher
Yeah.
wanting to be top.
and you don't know
So-
what communication you have with other people. You understand? And then let's say you have this school, and then you are in. I'm just creating a possible scenario, not saying that this is what the situation. You have
Right.
an invigilator who gets the paper, or official who gets the paper, who's close with somebody in the school, and then says, you know what, we have the papers here, you know.
But that was my next question.
Or
So
been
you,
paid?
you think it's
Yeah.
only that was about to say that. You think it's
Yeah.
only on the student side or it's on both sides?
I
You
think-
there's collusion?
I think it's not
with
even the
both sides?
student.
Thank you. I was going to
think-
say that.
I think it's the official and the school.
Yeah. I think it's the teacher and the official, like the teacher and the invigilator. Because, like, honestly speaking, what student has time to even think about that? Like, you don't even be thinking, look, oh my God, I want my school Anna Regina to top. Like, no, you just
Yeah, I
want to
mean-
pass the exam and get it out of your way.
That reminds me of, for some reason, when I thought of how this could be. You guys have heard about what happened with Russia and their doping, their state-sponsored doping with track and field, where they would they had this whole elaborate thing, right, where they would put the P as a specific place along the wall, so then the FSB people would go. They drill a, let's say they go in the hallway, they drill a hole in the wall. They tell them exactly where to drill the hole, and then when the people from the US come to pick up the P to test it, the WADA people come, they would switch out the urine for
What?
all of that. Yes.
Listen,
So you
people
see,
go to
so
the extremes.
the parallel here is the desire to win and the desire.
It is. It
to make
really
Russia-
is. Like, for instance, in Guyana, there are a lot of schools. There's President's College, Queen's College. Like, there's a lot of high schools. And for the last 2 CXCs, it hasn't been the schools that are known as the top schools that have gotten the high
Because
passes.
In those countries, like you have Trinidad, you have Guyana, you have Jamaica, you have that school system where persons are supposed to be doing well from a particular school.
Yes.
You have the school competition, you have the top schools, you know. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we're basically on the same level.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
you know, maybe you have a school that does well generally, you know, but then there's the opportunity for another school to outshine it the year after.
And I'm assuming Guyana has more than one university other than University of Guyana and UWI, right?
Right. So, well, University of Guyana has 2 different campuses even, and there's no UWI there, but they're American
isn't?
university. So we had a UWI there, and when the country became independent and Forbes Burnham was going through his whole nationalization phase, he nationalized the university and renamed it University of Guyana.
And then
So
he-
University of Guyana is
That's
it's
the same
affiliated.
time
it's
with
still
the Republic?
affiliated with University of the West Indies, except that papers that are done at University of Guyana have to be second graded at University of the West Indies. Weird.
Explain what is a second graded.
It
thing?
means
So it's like almost as if the professors in Guyana don't
so
know
they have
how
to
to
mark it
mark well
twice.
enough, so
Also.
it has to go to UE so that it can be second marked.
yeah, so they
Don't
will
even
get their
start me up. It's a
prelim-
sore topic with
a
me.
prelim grade, and then afterwards it's official
Interesting.
I've
after you
had
pass
papers
through.
gone up there with like A and B plus and come back with simple B, maybe even a C, and that, so it is definitely a sore topic with me.
Wow.
Don't start.
Interesting.
Azard knows. So
Yes.
he's watching at me grinning because we've had this
Interesting.
conversation before. But,
Yes.
you know, like in terms of becoming a republic and a independent country, there are certain things that you have to kind of concede or you feel like you have to do. Remember back in the days, like Eric Williams
Well, you guys
and
did it,
Forbes
man,
Burnham
because
and all of those people
Look
had
at
this
it.
concept.
Guyana independent. Guyana is under the CCJ. You know, they have
Oh, they're on a decision.
yeah. So the final appeals go to the CCJ, the republic. So they have their president and everything.
The
I mean,
CARICOM secretariat is
yeah.
there.
But let's not get, I don't want us to give the layman listening the wrong impression. When we tie, we're making it so we're conflating Well, Republic. So CCJ
Oh,
necessarily.
No,
and I did say that
So-
it came
no,
with
I
its
don't
own
mean you. I
drama.
meant- yeah.
I'm not saying that you
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's two different issues. It's two different.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
saying, what I'm saying is, look at Guyana. Guyana has ticked all the boxes, I think, in terms of being seen as
Or getting away from colonial rule.
Yes.
Right, getting away from funny that we're starting with this colonial rule. Did you see the chat yesterday? Our chat. Island tea chat.
That reminds me of a story from my
The
childhood with
colonial-
Burnham.
Oh gosh, Burnham is.
My
You know.
Remember
you
when
know,
we met with Sir Kennedy? He was giving us stories about Burnham.
Yes. You
I-
know. Let me check.
so funny.
And these are stories that are not like documented
Yeah.
in history. So
And it was terrible.
I was like so happy to hear like those stories from somebody who had actually met him.
Someone who went there, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna tell you all who it is, but that's a very important person.
I see he had
but I was a
several
kid.
things in here.
The
Apparently-
colonial part,
You remember that period when they used to ban?
Piton, Mount Piton, and Brimstone Hill.
You remember when they were trying to make use rice flour instead of that whole period when you'd
Well, they
grind-
were banning stuff
Yeah.
from the U.S.
So they
US
went. They
imports.
went to a cocktail at his house, and all the things that were banned
We're
were
there.
in abundance.
Oh, yes,
and
of
in
course.
evidence. They were nice. They were nice. There was nice stuff made with the flour that was supposedly verboten. You know, and
Listen, I can tell you stories like my mom, because he died in 1985, so I was probably like about what 3. But when he banned all of those things, it was in an effort to make the country self-sufficient. So persons became very innovative: breadfruit flour, rice flour, plantain flour, all of those things, because those are things that could be grown there. Even milk powder was banned because he was
Yeah,
trying
I
to
heard about that
reinforce
one.
the dairy sector and everything there. But you could get apples, you could get grapes, but it was just at a higher cost. Like even I think, the Kerrygold milk that comes from Ireland. It's a Kerrygold is a brand from Ireland.
oh, Kerry, yeah, Kerry
Right.
Gold, yeah.
Right.
I was
It's,
hearing CARI Gold.
no,
That's what I was
Kerry.
thinking. Kerry, yeah. I
it-
buy the butter. I love the butter.
Yes,
Yeah.
and their milk powder is awesome. That's what I grew up on. But even that was expensive, and it was on a ban. So, but that doesn't mean that because it's on a ban that it wasn't available. Like persons would say they would see him walking around eating bunches of grapes, and grapes was on a ban, right? So,
But he was gloating.
well, he rode around, surveying the market scene and that type of thing on a horse.
Those I say, what?
Yes, he rode around. I'm telling you, it's like the stories that you hear of this man. It's funny because, of course, with every leader, there's good, there's bad, there's persons who are going to look at you like, what? But yeah, my mom said he rode around, like sometimes he would ride around what we know as the Stabrook Market, which is like a major landmark in Guyana, on a horseback. Just rode around, checking it out, dressed down to the nines. And then Sir Kennedy was telling us that he loved to dress.
Yeah.
And that's how we found out about the shoe factory that they had in St. Kitts.
Yeah.
Because when we did the interview with Sir Kennedy, he was telling us that when he met Burnham, they came into an agreement that Burnham would supply them with rice and stuff that they needed here, and in return, St. Kitts would provide shoes for the military, and of course Burnham, because he wanted his shoes to match his outfits. So he was telling us about a specific purple shoe, and it was just But none of these things are like in the history books.
Of course not.
So
All the good
it's like
stuff
it was
never
so
is.
good to hear that from
All the
somebody
bad
who
stuff.
actually experienced it. Well, it was good because St. Kitts shoe factory got a big sale, making all those shoes for the nurses and the military persons, and I guess you guys got rice and sugar and that type of stuff from Guyana. So win-win.
And talking about Guyana, there's an Amerindian village in Guyana right now that is fighting for gold mine
Yeah, I saw that.
over land rights. So they fight for. So one of the Guyana's smallest Amerindian village is waging a monumental battle that could decide the amount of control that thousands of indigenous people have over their land in remote parts of this South American country.
I'd love to say this is new, but it's really not.
Yeah.
A lot of miners, and some of them are not even local. A good amount of them are now Chinese, are going to Guyana and mining there. And sometimes, again, it comes back to this whole colonial thing. The government will give permits for persons to go drill in the area, and it's actually land that is owned by the Amerindians. This is a fight that has been going on with Guyana. It's been going on with Brazil because, we share pieces of the Amazon. So it's been going on for quite some time. I think that's the conversation we were having yesterday, where we saw that a family from Canada, the Rossi family, was building a house in the Piton. In St. Lucia, and those are actually delegated. What's the word? The UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So I am shocked when I saw the article. I saw it. I glimpsed it a couple nights ago, and I was like, I'll come back and read it. I think I fell asleep. And then when Sharena sent it again yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the article that I was looking for. But I really couldn't believe that it was happening. So I thought the article was going to show us that they applied for it, and it's like persons are now voicing their displeasure. I couldn't believe that they had actually gotten permission. It's when I saw the slip saying approved, they had gotten permission and they started building. She said in the documentary, the lady said they actually diverted an entire river.
Are you serious?
As a heart attack. And I'm just reading the article and I'm in shock because I remember visiting that area when I was 14. They got approval, so who's going to stop it? And she made mention of the village that is right beneath the mountains, and it's actually called Village of the Free People. So how ironic. Why would you want to go build up there? It's like these are beautiful, pristine mountains. Mountains. Why, in God's name, would you want to go and disrupt nature and put a house there? And I think when they started making...
That's what you call caucasity.
It's like...
White
but
and
you
warped
come
white
and you see the
entitlement.
beautiful mountains like we all do, because I visited them years ago and I could appreciate it at that young age. So you come and you see it. Why can't you just leave it the way it is? Why do you have to go and dig and drill and build? Why?
But if approval was given, then I think some of the weight should be given or placed on the person to whom gave the approval too.
Because you're disrupting nature. I just don't understand the madness of the whole thing. You come and you see it like we all have done, and you leave. Why do you want to build a house there? And she was saying, they kept saying it was going to be eco-friendly. It's just going to be a small hut. And if you look at the documentary, you see several buildings there. You see big trucks, all sorts of activity happening up there. And I'm just thinking this is going to have a negative repercussion on the environment. Because, sometimes we love to play that we understand what's happening and we're God. How can you divert an entire river and not think that anything is going to happen? Why would you go dig up there?
So I didn't get a chance to look at the article. Is it one house or is it like she's doing like a project?
So the Rossi family is building up there, and it's not just one house. There are several buildings being constructed.
Is it going to be for sale or just for the family?
It's for them. And she said they had cordoned off the beach, so the beach was just for their private access. Like, what? And of course, they likened it to Christophe Harbour in St. Kitts. So we're not totally innocent. The article mentioned the amount of land that had been sold to Christophe Harbour in St. Kitts. And of course, the former Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas, given permission and how much the land was sold for. So it's just one thing after the other. The whole area in Guyana being dug up by persons for gold. Now the pitons being disrupted. It's never ending, I tell you.
Okay, well, it's 8:31. It's time for Vernon Springer Point on the street.
He's here?
John, yes, he's here.
To Nevis,
Yes,
Island
I'm
Tea.
here.
Say good morning to Azard and my good lady friend. Good morning, everyone.
Yo, V.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Vernon?
It's one of those days, but I'm giving God thanks I'm alive.
I know.
It sounds like we had a similar morning, Vernon.
When I woke this morning, I was like, oh gosh. I have to go through this whole day now. I have to plan my day and get it over with. I have to get up. I have to, start that day. Sometimes you feel like you could just have that extra rest,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, I didn't even have one of those mornings. I woke up and I was go, and then halfway through the door, I had a wardrobe malfunction, so I had to turn back.
So Vernon, what's up on your end?
Well, I think we just maybe need to start into a merry mood sometimes. I was just listening to Azard and my lady friend talk there a little bit about a documentary coming out of St. Lucia. I think it would be interesting if we maybe can get the government of St. Lucia's side on the documentary. Somebody sent me the documentary too. I've not been able to really track it down as much as I would like, but I found it pretty interesting in terms of what's happening. But my take on the whole matter is that the government would have had to give them permission to execute what they're doing. So it couldn't be that they just got up and just doing
Of
all
course
those
not.
things.
Right,
Yes.
right. Because of the nature of the area. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's been designated as that.
Yeah, it's
So
really
them-
kind of surprising, really, but strange things have happened
Yeah.
in the context of what's happening.
And in a situation
true.
like that, where approval would have to be given from, some agency or government, one has to look at what was the reason for it, We are seeing it from one side, but of course,
course.
we have to look at to see what the reason is as well.
Right.
And
Plus-
then we
plus-
just
plus
judge
in-
whether or
plus-
not that reason is justified.
Trust me, if you
plus
divert
also-
the whole river, I can't see how anything about that could be justified.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, like I said,
understand.
Jamster, sometimes we maybe don't understand certain things, right? But some things are beyond us.
I understand.
That's
Greed.
true. I'm all for
Yeah.
listening to both sides of the story.
Yeah, but
just to
I
be
understand
fair.
greed,
but
though.
Yeah.
My issue with that is that is just not that looks like a 5-year plan which has been building out. You
Thank
can't
you.
just build those buildings
And
within
divert a whole
year
river, right?
or 18. That would have had to start it a good while, and at the same time, employment is taking place because people in St. Lucia are benefiting, right? Whether I don't know how many workers they have working there, but that's been a work in progress. That looks like over a 5-6 year plan. So we don't know what arrangements would have been made with the previous government. I'm speechless, and so we wait to see how that one unfolds.
Definitely.
But I think it's
we'll
important,
follow.
as I said, we all know what has been happening, and I just want to extend my sympathies to the young man from the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, who is in the Josephine Farnes General Hospital. I spoke about it this morning earlier on my program before joining you guys. Fighting for his life.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. It's
you
so
know,
unfortunate.
Sometimes we think that we want to jump into situations based on what I've been hearing. He went trying to see if he could stop a fight, basically, there. I mean, sometimes we wonder, right? Do we get involved in certain things or we just sit back on the corner? I mean, here's this young man now, more or less, and I hope that he comes through.
Me too, definitely.
When I got the video yesterday, I was in a meeting and somebody sent me this video and I was like, I just find that everything, and I'll say this to you guys, right? Technology is good, right? But I find that a lot of things are just banding around on social media even before maybe it's even. Now imagine that his
Verified
family
or
might even
noted.
be seeing
This is it. Yes.
Even before they've been informed.
It's funny that you say that, Vernon, because we had the EMTs in here on Monday, and we had the same conversation to the point where they were actually asking persons not to tape when an accident or anything of that nature occurs and send the video around because of the reaction that it has in terms of sometimes this is the first time the family is seen or hearing of it. Sometimes when the victim gets up or recovers, this is they're seeing videos of themselves at a vulnerable moment. And it's funny because people often put more emphasis on making videos and sending them around than actually rendering assistance. It's insane to me.
Not only that, I mean, we are turning everything into a political situation. And that's why I was saying to Azad last week, our countries are divided. Everybody is just looking for a little scapegoat to be able to come up with something. And I looked at a situation there with former Minister Honorable Dwight Asafan's son, Jesse.
Yes.
And I'm saying mental health is real. Well, depression is real, whether we like it or not. And for us to be turning that story and had a video going around again on the young man all over the world between here, I'm wondering what people are getting out of this.
Precisely.
And some of the comments people are making, I'm really kind of like strange, like, really? These are big people who are making these comments, and I'm talking about people in civil society.
And it's all just for the story or to be breaking news or to be popular. And I keep saying to myself, because I remember his mom called in on Monday as well, and we were all saying, I particularly was saying, to what end? Okay, so you make a video and you send it out, but what have you benefited from it? To what end is this going to be beneficial to you, to the person, to the society? Why? And it brings me to, the whole Harry and Meghan situation. The paparazzi chased them to the point where there was almost a catastrophic accident.
Could you imagine the flashbacks he would have had knowing how his mom died?
All to get what? The latest scoop, the picture, what is it? There's absolutely nothing wrong with you taking a photo, because they do give you photo ops. They stand there, they take pictures, and then you can get the story after. For 2 hours, these people chased them around New York, even though they had police escorts and everything, to the point where they almost got into an accident, or more than one accident, several accidents, all to get the scoop. And this is exactly how his mom died. So I'm thinking, like, are you serious? He must have been so traumatized, because he's like having all, and it happened when he was like, 12? And now it's happening again with his wife. And that's the same reason he actually left the UK. All for the story and for the latest photo and the latest video.
We see that this hype about getting the latest story, getting the information out there, the pictures, having the scoop, has been around for some time.
They've been overdoing it.
Before social media.
Yeah.
But Azard is more dangerous, right? Because, and I'm just saying, I'm just painting a scenario.
Yes.
So, Jamster and myself, we are police officers, and we go to a scene, and we caught something. And this is what I'm saying. We got to be so careful. We share something with maybe be our wife or other half or whatever, and that video goes around. You understand?
Yes.
Because sometimes you think like you're just trying to maybe say, okay, boy, I got to the scene and I recognize that Azard is in an accident. So I took a quick video and said, well, let me send it back to Candisie. Candisie Azard got into a number in an accident. And you're not conscious of yourself that, boy, you're sharing this, and all of a sudden it's landing in the wrong hands. You know what I mean? And that is the part for me, because information is coming from, as I would say, quote unquote, from outside of the personnel who is supposed to be handling these things.
Agreed.
But it's a good time to mention.
The privacy of a matter is almost like it's not even safe. It's like, yes, we know we have artificial intelligence.
Right.
We know that everybody is watching us, whether we like it or not. But in the police in Antigua and Barbuda, and I know the police in St. Kitts and Nevis have been asking folks, please, let us try and see if we can contact the families first before they find out about what is happening on studio. And I don't know what we're gonna do about it, but I only see it getting worse.
I think so. The need to have the scoop or to be the first to disseminate the information, it's becoming more and more ridiculous.
But the thing is, it's even corrupting the police officers. We found out yesterday that the picture with the Astafan issue was taken by a police officer. I think that should be, that there should be legislation so that police officers and first responders and those types of people face consequences when they do that. I mean, you're working. Why are you trying to get likes when you're supposed to be helping someone? You're supposed to be you're a first responder.
Thank you. Focus on the situation at hand.
Exactly.
And then the relevant authorities will disseminate the information if it's a need to know, because the public does this. We don't need to know everything. Why do people feel so entitled to know information about public figures or persons who are in the public sphere? It's almost as if like you don't give them that information and they're upset, so they attack you. People feel that because you are in the public eye or because you were once in the public eye, that they have to know certain things about you. So when you become private, it's almost as if they feel affronted. It's like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? You know, there's absolutely no need that you are entitled to. There's nothing saying that you're entitled to know everything about me, everything about Azard. It's just crazy to me.
So Springer, go ahead, give us some more what goings on over there in Antigua.
As I was saying, we live in a microwave society right now, and we tend to watch to see what happens in America. Now, America, you're in the media, and everybody's trying to see if they can get the best picture because they get paid for it. The photographers who are harassing Harry and Meghan, once the best photo, they make money from it. That's their life, right?
Yes.
And you find now that is being inculcated into the Caribbean, and they also have personal people who, for whatever particular reason, have to find a way to be able to make sure that they bring you down in whatever way. So any scope that they can get on you, or any dirt that they can get on you, they're gonna celebrate about that. Now,
Even if they have to fabricate it, trust me.
huh?
Even if they have to fabricate it, I've been dealing with trolls for the last 6 years.
Yeah, but the issue is, until when government, and Jamson made a point, until when somebody is made, we hold some people accountable, this is just going to continue, right?
I think, well, in those situations, I think that in the past, because there was a situation where some police officers had gotten, someone's phone and circulated videos of that person in a very intimate act. And that matter was brought to the court, and the court dealt with it. And I mean, the government, by extension, had to pay damages to that person. So,
wow.
We're getting there because Harry and Meghan have a case coming up against the Mirror newspaper for bugging and tracing,
So
and
it's just for individuals, because things could happen in society, but it's for individuals to take the matter to court sometimes, you know.
Because we do have laws that can cover that. I was happy to see the whole cyberbullying law enacted.
So I mean, a lot of times things happen and we don't.
Sometimes, as the time frame of going to court sometimes mentally drives you crazy. You know
Yes.
that, right, Azard?
Yes.
Well, I'm a lawyer. I know the process.
All too well.
Yes.
Sometimes it is lengthy, and
It
that's
is
sometimes
lengthy.
what turns
it is
persons
lengthy,
off.
and it could be costly in some instances. So
Yeah. Well,
It's worth it sometimes in the end, because sometimes innocent people fall by the wayside, and sometimes people just don't have money because the lawyers are going to push, and they're going to push, and they're going to push. It's not everybody going to have that kind of support to be able to go all the way.
that's true. That's true. Well, Vernon, we have some news from your end, and we wanted to hear your side of it.
Yeah, we heard something about. Well, we've seen it in the news for some time about Antigua and Barbuda making two individuals cultural ambassadors. We saw I think we spoke about it before, and then we saw the lawyers from one of them writing to the government of Antigua and Barbuda, cautioning them not to use the image of the individual until certain arrangements had been discussed and made.
I can say to you that I think those discussions are ongoing based on what I had lately. So I think releases should be coming out from both parties. That's the latest information that I would have received on the matter.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I wanted to discuss Liat actually.
But
I don't have all the details, but it just sounded sort of kind of premature, really. I don't know if something took place and then somebody else. You know what's happening when you have different agents now, right? And sometimes we take things for granted. I come across and I say, Jamster, I want you to be an ambassador in a free conversation XYZ there. But there are also more legal things that take place behind the scene that sometimes you yourself are not even aware
But
of.
how is the public? How are persons in Antigua and Barbuda taking the information? Are persons discussing it? Are persons saying that is a good idea? Are persons
That's not a big thing here, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's not a big thing. Okay.
That's really not a big thing.
Oh wow. What about
I can tell you
Liat
what is
though?
a big thing. I can tell you what is a big thing, Azard. And Jamster would love this. There was a farmers' fete over the weekend.
Oh.
The farmers is one of the biggest fetes in Antigua and Barbuda preliminary for Carnival. And oh boy, it was maybe well over 5,000 people that attended. It was massive.
Jamster,
Yes.
you're a feta?
There's a DJ, of course, goes to the territory.
During the period of the fete there, two of the biggest soca artists in Antigua and Barbuda, Tian Winter and Ricardo Joe, I know Jamster would love this. There was a little banter on stage, and a date has been set now for a face-off between two of Antigua's top artists. Two bands on one stage, and that is now set for July 28th. That is the talking point in Antigua and Barbuda.
Wow.
It's also the talking point there's in the media, and on social media, where folks feel that maybe a Tian Winter and a Claudette Peters would be also a good matchup. So when the poster was launched yesterday, I need to send the posters to Jamster.
Yeah, please.
There were two posters, one with Tian Winter and Claudette Peters, and one with Ricardo Joe and also Tian Winter. So there's this big showdown now. That's the big talking point in Antigua for Carnival. Everybody is looking forward to that. The venue has not been set yet. I most likely feel it with the Antigua Barbuda Recreation Ground.
Yeah.
But that is something that I think people have been kind of looking forward for a long time. Don't think they want any speaking terms for whatever particular reason in terms of what has been happening over the years. But on Farmers' Night, at this fete, both artists came on stage, dapped each other, had a little showdown, a little banter between them, and it kind of sent eruptions. You know, everybody was like, okay, this is basically what we want.
Well,
In fact,
I don't know if
on
you know.
Monday, go on, Jamson.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know. You know, Ricardo Drew is he's part of the St. Kitts Music Festival, the Thursday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on Monday, Ricardo Joe will be live on Point on the Street. So that's something that I will be, trying to inquire him about and find out how all of this came about. But what I said this, Azard, in that the artists themselves now are also coming together to be able to also look to come up with creative ways now and some slogans to be able to help concerning the youth violence, which has been on the rise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is something now which is
really-
now looking.
It really
they've been
has
quite-
to. It really has. I think
Yeah.
that's a good way forward, because you find a lot of these artists too are guilty of producing music that incite, music that add to the culture of gun violence.
It's interesting that you said that, Jamster. I don't know if you saw. I was looking. There was an artist that went to Barbados. Oh gosh, I took note in a Jamster to kind of link you on it there. One of the songs he sang, just as I had made that point there in Jamaica. Oh gosh, one of the reggae artists out of Jamaica, and the fans were calling for this particular song, and he refused to sing the song, to the point that he was booed off stage.
Wow.
And when at the end of the concert, when he was asked why he didn't sing the song, he said, in fairness to what is happening right now, you have to respect all cultures of people around the world.
Yeah.
And unlike when he sang the song, you cannot just come now and just decide between me, like, listen, I'm going to attack gays, I'm going to attack lesbians, I'm going to attack XYZ. And he was saying that you have to understand these people are also fans. And so when
Agreed.
you behave, what happened before, you can't do those things now. You know what I mean? Because everybody have their rights.
And
Yeah.
that is what I'm saying. A lot of these times, as artists, they have a huge platform, and they have a huge following. And music is an arrangement, a sound, but it's also, when you have a song, it's words, and words have power, and words have the when you add that musical arrangement to it, has the power to influence many persons. And if we are going to have music that incite hatred, we have music that promote hatred, that promote division, we're going to have a society that not everyone is going to take it in, but there are going to be persons who are going to consume it, digest it, and act out on it.
Anyway, Candice, I just wanted to raise something with you. I saw something, the St. Lucia Jazz Festival is taking place
Yes, yes.
as we speak. And there's been a lot of the local artists. And I come down this road right now because I'm
Yes,
going to go.
Springer. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a reggae artist. There are a couple of artists in St. Lucia who ended up bumped off of the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. In fact, one of the top reggae artists, he said that what was almost like disturbing for him is that in his contract, original contract, it went from 30 minutes down to 25, down to 20 minutes, then down to 15 minutes. And he said it was just almost unbearable. In his mind, he's saying, how am I originally starting my contract that I was going to be allowed to sing for 30 minutes? And then it almost got down to the point now where it was almost like 10 minutes. He says his handling team said, no, you how can you give somebody, a local person, 10 minutes on a stage there? And I asked this Candice and Jamster, I know, in terms of the road talk, there's been a big major talk, 25 years of music festival celebrating this year. That's a major achievement for anything.
Yes.
Just like Central Bank celebrating 40 years.
Right.
But I'm still trying to follow with all of the artists on stage. If we couldn't find one artist from Nevis, that has me baffled.
I think you've just hit the point that Jamster has been harassing the Sinkis Music Festival chairman about for weeks now.
And we've had other persons in the community as well, and especially the Nivisions, indicating, why there wasn't anybody from there.
But to be fair,
I think somebody said, well, Delhi Ranks, it's kind of like a weak argument indeed,
it's a
right?
weak
Delhi
argument.
Ranks is from Nevis, and he's
now
now
in
with
Small
Small
Axe.
Axe. But I mean, yeah.
but Vernon, what I should say is one of the things Ike encapsulated it perfectly. We had him on a few weeks ago. Ike said people are talking, but when the Nevis bands come down, they don't go. He said people bring down the core, they bring down Odyssey, and then you go with the jam and there's nobody there.
Is Garlic
And
he's from Nevis as
yeah,
well.
but Garlic is a little different because he's more like a hotel. He's like a cover band.
Well,
at a hotel
Nevis is
and-
Nevis.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Ike had made a good point, and it's really true because we like to talk and say, "Oh, well, was it?" But then we don't go and support. You know.
That's that's a true point. And
So the timing of when maybe these artists come on could also be critical to Jamster. You also come from?
True.
If they're going to be doing the night of 8 o'clock, I'm just trying to reference. You think Candice is going to get to the music festival for 8 o'clock to hear a core band?
That's true. That's
So
also
you-
true.
so you're
yes.
thinking-
Right,
maybe-
it's 7 o'clock now, actually.
so you're thinking,
What I'm saying, okay, make it even 7 o'clock.
Even
Let's be
worse.
fair.
Yeah.
You come out of your house at 7 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock you on the boat coming down. Are you going to reach in time to hear?
So-
We have to be practical.
So you might.
you
So
understand where I'm coming
what might have to be done is perhaps have a huge artist. When I say huge, international, like everybody knows this artist, and then in between you have our local artists. And so when persons after that huge act, then when I say huge, I'm not saying that our local artists are huge acts.
I
I'm
could
saying
tell
in
you-
terms of international presence.
I could tell you from a show production
Yeah.
and logistics
Yeah.
standpoint, that sounds good to you, but that
it's-
really can't work most of the
Okay.
time. It's logistically it's not gonna work.
It's gonna be challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why we have professionals.
And
in-
especially you have to
in
think
the
about
fields.
about how it goes on with the crowd. I mean, imagine you have say a
So
huge.
hold on, Jamster.
you know.
Jamster,
Go ahead.
you know I'm going to challenge you, right? So don't go down that road. Tell me about no local production and you see the lineup for Thursday night, Jamster?
Yeah, it's really long.
Okay, right. So we are the four top bands in St. Kitts. How are they going to be slated? Who's going to end?
Yeah, I was wondering about
Yeah,
that.
I was wondering that too. I was like, I can't
Okay.
wait to see the
Oh,
way they're
okay.
gonna pan this out.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me tell you, Jamster. So you don't have to wonder, right? You know that there's going to be a fight as to whether Sugar Band is going to end that music festival night or what. You know what is going to happen.
Don't they usually put like the person who won a road march to wrap up to end it?
Yeah, but it doesn't always go that way.
No? Okay. This should be
You
interesting
understand
then.
where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
Because you winning the road match don't mean that you have the most fans.
True,
You understand where I come from?
True. Yeah.
We've seen the time whether it was small acts, whether it was New Vibes, whether it was whoever, they command the respect and the support in terms of what people are coming to see.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And there usually is a fight.
Yeah.
He's correct. But I'm disappointed in that whole St. Lucia debacle. I really hope that they can kind of salvage it before the festival ends.
Oh, also here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we've had a huge discussion over what the government deems a housing revolution, where the government has, with a Trinidadian company and a Trinidadian financial institution, committed to build 2,400 homes, smart homes here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so we've had many persons ask questions as it relates to that. We've had many discussions over the past week as it relates to that. And we've seen where NHC...
The government didn't answer yesterday, Azard?
Yeah, and I'm getting there. And we have seen where we have had responses by the minister, the government, and the agency. I think just recently someone was circulating some of the designs that seem to have been coming from NHC's website for the homes.
Isn't there a fair today? I think is it today?
Is it today? I saw something about a housing fair as well.
Yes.
But I'm not sure when it is. It's today?
Yes, yes. So you'll be able to see designs and ask whatever questions that you might have.
Today.
Yes.
I think the fair is today.
Yeah.
Yes,
something else.
yes. And I think it began at 8.
Yeah. But Azad, it's coming up to the time of the day, and I just want to salute you guys here and to again, from us here in Antigua and Barbuda and all around the world. I want to wish the young man all the best. I hope that he pulls through, and it's about time enough that that we really start to hold people accountable. In terms of the actions, a lot of things are happening, and everybody's blaming the government, but nobody's looking at the parents. We in the society, we know exactly basically what is happening, but we are not saying anything. So how we have to help the police, If we don't help the police and we don't help the agencies, then we can't stop crime,
I'd like to add parents and society.
No color. I want to make the point, crime has no color. So when we're aligning things to political parties, crime has no color.
Yeah.
I want to make that point.
Yes.
I agree. I also think society is responsible. I saw a video last night. There were 2 schoolgirls actually having a go at each other, cursing out each other like adults, and all the adults were standing there watching it. And one of them was actually in school clothes.
No, but it was sweet. Candisie was sweeter than that. There was a lady recording, and a lady came across, and she told the lady, "You're in my way."
Oh, yes, yes. She said, "You're blocking me. Come out my way." Yes. This is madness. And they are the adults, right?
Yeah, they're the adults. But, folks, I have to go because we have to get ready for the cabinet press briefing. Jamster, Candice, and Azard.
Yes.
To the nation, St. Kitts and Nevis from Antigua and Barbuda. We have a good one here on the Digital Crossroads Caribbean Link Up.
Thank you.
It was indeed a pleasure speaking to you guys.
You too, Vernon. Have a good day today.
Good. Great. Okay, Vernon.
Let me just shout out my Uncle Terrence Dolphin, Jabo, and my brother Isos up, all the folks in St. Kitts and Nevis. Have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Same to you. All the best, Vernon.
Okay, so it's 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Island Tea.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Babe, this soca got me ready to fet for summer. Better start saving money.
There's an easier way. We can play Carnival Cash with the Caribbean Lottery and enter the Chasing the Vibes promotion.
Carnival Cash?
It's a new, exciting scratch game that's loaded with $1,000. And if we buy $20 in Carnival Cash tickets, we can enter to win a trip to Barbados for a 6-day VIP crop-over experience.
A free trip? Count me in. Purchase the Carnival Cash scratch tickets from any Caribbean Lottery agent island-wide for your chance to win a trip and VIP crop-over experience in Barbados.
Partnered with the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. Must be ages 21 and over to play.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Apply online now for the NHC New Modern Smart Homes. The application process is digital. Sign up for a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom home at apply.nhc.kn. Create your unique ID and never have to reapply. Did you hear that? Never ever have to reapply. It's safe, secure, and saves time. No more paperwork. Sign up and free up your time by applying online at apply.nhc.kn. Contact us at 466-4701 for more information. NHC, raising standards.
Music's finest artists converge in Basse-Terre from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got nobody. Grandmasters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Aka You Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Four minutes after 9 o'clock, we've got Lincoln David Pell in studio. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Good morning and
Good
welcome
morning.
to Island
Welcome
Tea.
to Island Tea. In fact,
thank you. I'm happy to be here.
we have Mr. Pell here. We are doing. We're hoping to do a show next week on, because of the increase in violent crime over the years, because of so much of the we see an attacks, fights in schools. But I told him Thursday, but I forgot to tell him which Thursday.
We'll take 2 Thursdays, thank
you. So he's here already, and he was early and everything. So I said, no, we could have a little discussion about it. We could have...
Definitely.
Yeah. So we've realized that there has been an increase in violent crimes, especially for this year, because last year we had, I think, if statistics, if I'm correct, we had 11 homicides last year, and we already... now at 11. Yeah, we're at 11
not even
right
halfway
now.
through the year.
Not
We're
even
only in the
halfway
5th
through
month.
the year. Yeah, and you're a former police officer, right?
Right.
So could you tell us, based on your experience, you could give some safety tips, some words of knowledge for persons out there, how do they maintain themselves in situations like these? And what should they be looking for? How should they carry out their activities?
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to let him introduce himself so that person know why he's here to speak on that, give them some background.
Yeah, you could give the background.
Good morning, everyone, and peace be to you. And I start off with peace because that's one of the issues we have. Persons do not really want to resolve situations peacefully. My name is Lincoln David Pell, as Mr. Gumbs mentioned. I used to be a police officer for a number of years. And I used to use a philosophy when I used to in the force. And my thing is, when I look at it, and in a different meaning, person look for, let's say, achievement, or accomplishment, or success when it comes to policing, just locking up people. But sometimes you have success by prevention.
Agreed.
If you have to arrest someone, that means something already happened. So I just want to go through something here with the definition of crime so persons could understand. You could commit a crime by 2 ways.
Right.
One, this is the definition for crime. It's an act or omission that constitutes an offense that may be prosecuted by the state and is punishable by the law. Now, if you realize the words at top, an act or an omission, that means you could commit an offense or you could commit a crime by doing something or not doing something. And sometimes this is what happens in our society. The other aspect to that is we have to realize rights of persons, because one of the issues I think we have, especially with the crime and young persons, even some older persons these days, oh, my right to this, my right to that. But if you have a right to, let's for example, use the marijuana situation, for example, which is a hot button topic right now. You have a right to smoke it, but I have a right not to smell it.
Agree.
Some persons forget that part. You have a right to, let's say, for example, as well as my good friend mentioned, I'm also a martial artist, I'm a taekwondoist. And we also teach our students, not because someone hit you, and this is the law playing out. So I use the law as well in my training, in my taekwondo. If someone hits you, yes, you might have a right to respond, but also, even these good scriptures, the holy scriptures that we believe in, tell you, you do not have to respond to certain things. Okay? Therefore, if someone hits you, you do not have to hit them back. You tell them, sir, ma'am, brother, whatever you want to call him, do not do that again. Because if you hit them back, it's he who reached the police station first to complain. The police is going to take the report. Until there's evidence to prove I hit you first, then I'm the one who the police get the report against. So my advice to persons coming from a law enforcement background and know a lot of the law and everything is that prevention is better than cure. Also, be law-abiding citizens. Someone hit you doesn't necessarily mean you have to hit them back. That's one way of resolving something. But I realize these days, you accidentally touch someone, as we say, mash them.
And it's on.
And you say, sorry. I don't want a sorry from you. But you see, and that's an issue. So I will now go on to something else so we could realize what is happening here. A lot of persons will say it takes a community to raise a child. That was then, but this is now. Even some parents will tell the other parent, do not touch my child, but it's both of them child. And therefore, if you have that, you realize we have done a breakdown in family values. So therefore, the child or the children believe whatever they do is just right. But remember, we as adults keep forgetting we were children too. Therefore, those children are going to come adults. And if they keep believing what they're doing as children, there's no punishment for it, what do you think will happen when they come adults?
Exactly.
I always use this as a police in my talking to persons as a taekwondo master, is that if you believe you can get away with everything as a child, when you reach adult, you realize everything changed. If you cannot abide by the school rules, when you reach to work, you have to abide by the work rules, as you have to find another employment somewhere else.
Okay, then.
If you cannot abide by the rules of by the laws of the land, you find yourself in prison.
And that's exactly what's happening.
And these are the simple things that sometimes some adults fail to mention to children. Let's say, for example, we have the new act concerning children. Sometimes, as politicians, are the legislature, I'm not sure if they really consider sometimes what they're doing. We're moving away too far from our culture, which is a God-fearing thing. If we move away too far from the Bible, we're going to get chaos. And they will bring in some laws and make it to believe children shouldn't be punished. Now, let me bring in the Bible now, because I'm a God and Jesus-believing person, that spare not the rod and spoil the child. It says foolishness is bound in the mind of the child, but the rod of correction will drive it out. It also says, parents, provoke not your children to anger or wrath. Therefore, bring them up with love and care. So if you know your child or children are doing something wrong, if you never correct them, they will always do wrong and believe they're right until they meet the law. And when they reach to prison now, you have a problem.
It really is.
And that is really family problem, and it's also a society breakdown problem. So you see, we are bringing everything to link everything.
It's true.
Also, when you have to look at it, it's all boiled down to this society, and even sometimes, if you want to put it for a better word, legislative problems. Because sometimes issues that are affecting the world that are not affecting us, we bring them here. And even the Bible itself tells you the law, there's no sin until the law comes. The Bible said that.
So, Mr. Pell.
Yes, sir.
Could you give us some safety tips in terms of persons being out late in the night, persons being on the streets? What are some of the things you would encourage persons to do if they're out alone?
Okay, good question. Whether children or adults.
Yeah.
You should know your surroundings. Generally, we are in a peaceful country. I would like to say that foremost. But because we know what is happening in society, we shouldn't try to be out alone. We should also know and understand if you're out too late, somebody who might be up to no good might be out late. Because, people who are up to wrong, those are the best time they think. But I'm also asking and appealing to the persons, change. Doing good is always better than doing something wrong. So, persons, if you have whatever you have to protect yourself, I will tell you, try to protect yourself. I don't want to go too much into things, but I just want to tell persons to be aware of your surroundings and protect yourself. If you're suspicious of something, you either call a friend, call the police, or do not go where you want to go. Avoid shortcuts, especially if it is not properly lit.
Also, too, I know that you engage in martial arts. Could you tell us more about that, and if persons are interested in, because that's a way of self-defense as well?
Okay, and like when I teach self-defense to women and young persons, I like to tell them, talking is also a part of self-defense. If I want to hit you and I say stop, automatically, you know what I'm saying? So you have to talk sometimes. However, in the art, you have to see the unseen, as long as you're well trained to it, meaning learn the body language of people, body expressions, and you will know certain things. However, the biggest victory, a good martial arts, this is a philosophy of the martial arts, the biggest victory one could get is not to fight in the first place. It might sound weird, but when you get into a confrontation, a number of things could happen. You can hurt the person, and if you cannot justify that, you have to deal with the law. If you make a mistake,
hurt you.
Yes, if you make a mistake, the person can hurt you, and you get injured. Not only hurt, but we could also talk about death. You see what I'm saying? So the best thing is also try to avoid confrontation at all times. That's the best defense.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you popped in and you were having this discussion, because we were just discussing what happened yesterday with the school children. And the little boy that's now in hospital fighting for his life.
It's an unfortunate situation, and that is why I like to talk to children. Do not be quick to fight. Let me give you an example. I was in Caracas in Venezuela when I was living there. I was, I think, either third degree. I might have been a master at the same time. But there was this guy. He was a black belt. And he came to class and he said, "Sir, I want you to, I know your thing, but since I'm a karateka and I'm a taekwondo, he wants to learn some taekwondo." So I taught him, and he said, "But look, my instructor taught me, as soon as someone touches you, especially from the back, just turn around and strike." I said, "Well, that is dangerous, because it could be a loved one. It could be a police even trying to give you direction." And then I spoke to him, let's say, last week, Thursday. But this week, Thursday, when we come back to have our training, he said, "Sir, I have some bad news for you." I was like, "What, someone for you died, your family?" He said, "No." I said, "Something happened to you, you're sick?" He said, "No." I said, "But what happened?" He said, "The same thing we spoke of last week happened. A brother of mine came and touched me from the back, and I turned around and punched him right in the mouth. And now I get thrown out of the house." That's what I'm talking about. You have to be careful what you're doing. Calculate whatever you're doing, because the end of it could be fatal. And that is why I'm saying to our young persons, try to avoid confrontation, especially when it happens on the school premises. Go to the teacher and make complaints. I know in the past, I would have had taekwondo students who come and I said, "Go to the teacher." They said, "But sir, I go to the teacher and the teachers do not take me on."
I was just going to point that out, because I saw another video where the girl is screaming. She said, she always troubling me. And that was what one of the reports that was circulating was saying, that this particular person was constantly being bullied. So it's not that it's a one-off incident. It's something that's been reoccurring, and she just felt like I'm at my wit's end, and she just reacted.
And you know what? Even from the martial arts point of view, take a kitten, small it is, and let it feel as if it's been attacked. It will start to meow and want to defend itself. Imagine human beings. And that is why I'm also appealing to the persons in authority. That's why they talk about society, breakdown of society. Some person might see certain things as a norm, there's nothing wrong with that. But it is a problem, because if someone feel harmed or injustice is being done to them, they're looking redress.
Yes.
And if they come for redress, someone in authority should bring those persons. Do not pick side. Ma'am, there was a report made against you. What is your side of the story?
Right.
And unfortunate, from what you're saying, it seems as if that didn't happen, and then it boils down to this.
We've become a society where everybody wants revenge. Like you just said, if you step on somebody, and even if you say something as simple as sorry, it doesn't end there.
Right.
And so everybody comes back exacting revenge. They want their share. Oh, I have to get back at this person type of thing.
And you know what? Violence could come in different forms. Sometimes some adults, they even maybe just a discussion, and the way they come over, it's a violent thing, and therefore we have young ones, and they listen, and those young ones are going to come adults, because all of us here were youth, we were babies, and if you grow up in a society of violence, more than likely you're going to project that same violence. I like to use this example. I don't know how much more time we have, but just for us as a society to understand. If a child is born in an English-speaking country, and that child grew up in whether it's Spanish, French, Chinese, or one of those countries, and all they hear is that language, which language do you think they're going to speak?
Of course.
Therefore, if we grow up in a society that just do not have no respect and regard for other person's rights, and the respect for law, and love for people, being kind, being good, just being good, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have a society that just don't give a care. I was amazed to hear some people right here. If someone going to tell you, I don't even care if I die or whatever, then that's a person who has the potential to could be a menace to society.
Agreed.
So I'm just calling on our persons to change, because we could only get changed by the renewing of the mind. Now, good, because remember, some parents do the best they can, and the child or children still find someone who teach them bad things and gravitate to the bad. But you know what? According to the good scripture, and if you look at nature, because I'm a martial artist, you study different things, and you study the body. It is always difficult to remain good than to do bad, because that bad side is there. If you do not believe me, go home today, buy 20 bags of oranges or even apples, and get one bad one. Squeeze all the good ones, and squeeze that bad one in the water. Tell me how it tastes.
Exactly.
So what I'm
One bad
saying,
apple.
Spoil the whole bunch.
that's what I'm saying. So therefore, let us choose our words, our friends carefully, and let us always be on the good side of doing good.
Lincoln
And
David
love
Sage.
the persons.
You should change your last name to Sage.
To Sage.
Very timely visit.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
popping
so
in
much.
today.
God
popping
work
in.
in mysterious ways, and
Indeed.
everything work out for good.
And when you said that, his wonders to perform.
I know that's in my head. I finished it in my head.
Yes. Thank you, Lincoln.
Thank you very much.
We're going to
welcome.
take
You're
a short break and get back to you, the program.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere.
Comprehensive disaster management is about every one of us being ready to manage any natural or man-made event like hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, fires, oil spills, or volcanoes. It's about having your home or business prepared with an emergency plan as applied. It's prevention. Keeping your home, business, or community well maintained and safe. It's about being able to get your life back on track after the event. Will you be ready? Visit nima.kn or log on to Nima SKN on Facebook.
Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware. Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got no bodies. Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Babe, this soca got me ready to fet for summer. Better start saving money.
There's an easier way. We can play Carnival Cash with the Caribbean Lottery and enter the Chasing the Vibes promotion.
Carnival Cash?
It's a new, exciting scratch game that's loaded with $1,000. And if we buy $20 in Carnival Cash tickets, we can enter to win a trip to Barbados for a 6-day VIP crop-over experience.
A free trip? Count me in. Purchase the Carnival Cash scratch tickets from any Caribbean Lottery agent island-wide for your chance to win a trip and VIP crop-over experience in Barbados.
Partnered with the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. Must be ages 21 and over to play.
And we're back. It's 9:24.
Yes. And for this, for the final half an hour of the program, we figure we'll just have some cultural sayings, things that Granny used to say. And we have a little late moment here today on Island Tea. And so, in the Caribbean, we have Caribbean language, and Caribbean language is rich. We have a vibrant and colorful language as a people. And there's some Caribbean sayings, what Granny used to say.
I'm glad you bring that up because even as what Mr. Pell was just speaking about, society used to help to raise us. And now it's like, you can't even stop kids in the road and say to them, don't do that or fix your clothes or...
Who you talking to?
Listen,
you're talking
they're
to,
cussing
miss?
you out. They're cussing you out. Sometimes the parents come in and join in, left my child, don't tell my child nothing, It's insane.
She can't handle her own kids as she want to talk about mine.
Or you didn't have any, how children go. And it's crazy because I remember back in the day, if somebody go home and tell your mother that they see you on the road behaving that way, let me tell you, first of all, you're embarrassing your mother, so you're getting licks for that. You're lucky if the old person give you two on the road as well.
Yeah.
So it seems as though we've strayed so far away. And I liken it to, I feel like more children are having children. They're more young mothers and young fathers.
Yeah.
And
but
it's almost as though they haven't gone through the full phase of growing up and learning certain things.
Say that we have young parents, but when you look at it too, back in the day, grandparents were often, to me, very young.
But sometimes the grandparents also lived in the home.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I grew up around my grandparents. Mostly my mom's mom. And so I would have picked up a lot of things from her.
I think maybe it's the change of the structure of the home.
Yes.
I think we're long ago we had the more extended, you know, you live with your grandmother, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, all live in that house. Then we moved to, you know, more of a nuclear, and now we've seen now the most popular household, I'm sure, is the single parent household.
That is half the problem right there. I feel the other problem still is that they're younger persons, like grandmothers are now like 40 something because they had their children young, and then that child got their child young. And I still feel like we are missing some of the essentials. Like, you're 20, you haven't even experienced much of life, but you're already tied down with a child. Now, I am not saying that you still can't have your life. What I'm saying is that I think some of us still have a lot more growing up to do before we can actually raise another human being.
And there are persons, I think, you know, who are 20 and, you know, they've seen themselves. Yeah, they're responsible. They see themselves ready. I think the problem is when you have a child in your 20s, but you still want to operate as though you don't
have a child.
And you still, yes. I think that is where the issue comes in.
And this is where you see now parents going to the schools and fighting with teachers, or they joining in with the child and attacking another child. It's outrageous.
So if you have a child in your 20s, you must understand that you have now another human being in the world that you have brought in, that you have to care for. You can't be going and doing things that other persons who don't have children do in terms of, you know, without that responsibility. So I think it's the mindset that when you have a child, that's a huge responsibility, and you now have to guide another individual. Yeah, a lot of persons have the child, but they don't want to accept that now there should be changes made.
Okay, let's take some calls. We have our first call.
Oh,
wow. I was just saving that last segment for the newsroom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, just to touch on a little note here. There's a notion that we always peddle that children getting children. I don't know. I'm saying if you could think back, if you have the knowledge of how old your mom was when she got her first child.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing as well.
That would be me. 17.
It's a notion that we speak, and this thing happening from ever since.
Yeah.
Nothing about the Bible,
Azard did say that.
Children.
Yeah, I did say that.
Happening from eons ago. Remember, long time ago, they had no TV and nothing to entertain them. So I guess I don't know how I want to say it like that, but sex was the entertainment.
But why do you think it's different then to now?
Underage childbirth back then, and it wasn't a problem.
Right.
We never see the family breakdown like how we're having it now. So I don't think to say that is underage people getting children and you're the grandmother when you're 40 and
right.
I don't think that's.
But why do you think it's different now? What's happening? What changed?
It's the mindset of people. You know, the evolution of the mind. I don't think it's the age of the person getting the child per se.
Yeah,
you might be right.
Because I was saying, if you look back at it,
evolution, technology, and everything, that we are more stuff earlier in age than when it was long time ago. By the time you're 5, you know, you don't operate in computers. Back in our time, you didn't say a computer to your high school.
Right.
A computer to
different influences. I think you might have a point.
It's the underage pregnancy per se. That this thing has been going on from ever since.
Yeah. I often say that, Carla, because I agree with you. People often say that younger people are getting children, but when you look at it, they've
we tend to
always
use it as a Bible quote, that the Bible said children getting children, and you know, it's not that way. It's been happening forever.
It has been.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I still believe that if they have different influences, like I was saying, yes, children were having children then because they were having them younger, but the grandmother was still in the home. There was an extended family, so it was a different society. They had different influences. I have been mentoring young persons, thank you so much for your contribution. It's valuable. I've been mentoring young people for quite some time and been interacting with them. I also have 4 younger sisters, and I had a past employee that worked with me, and she already had a child. And you would see at certain points in time that her childish side still came out. It's almost as if she had not gotten that out of her system, or she still longed for it. Sometimes you would see her real childish side come out, and they would be, you know, mischievous in office and playing pranks on each other, and I would just sit back and laugh, and I found it so funny.
Maybe when you say
we have a
that,
caller.
Oh, we have a caller.
Caller, go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hi,
Yes.
good morning.
Hi, what's up?
Yes, good morning. There's no question that times are different now, right? And you can't compare back then with now, I don't think. I listened to the lamentations and the appeal to observe people's sensibilities and the condemnation of the paparazzi and so on. And I wonder if we're not fighting a losing battle, because this is all driven by not only technology, but putting this technology in the hands of everybody, virtually everybody. And since the advance in technology can't be stopped and everybody can't be policed, it's just life in the 2020s. That's the bottom line. All right? And we just have to live with the good and the bad. The only way I see that can stop this is if we do something like what is done on radio, and that is have some giant time delay before everything goes out on the information superhighway, and have some super sensor that determines what goes out and what doesn't. And I don't know, and actually that might just be possible. I don't know how many of you looked at the congressional hearings on artificial intelligence, but they're apparently trying to make sure that the mistakes that were made with the internet and the World Wide Web, where it was allowed to become pervasive with virtually no restrictions, they'd want to avoid those mistakes with artificial intelligence. And maybe one good use of artificial intelligence is to act as a kind of information policeman. That might be possible, and help prevent some of the things that you've been talking about this morning, which are really the downside of having all this information at our fingertips and the ability to just put it out there. Okay, there are other areas in artificial intelligence which are frightening, really scary. But at least you can make use of it in a good way as well.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that input.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you.
One of the things that I found interesting about the whole discussion on artificial intelligence, and this ties into crime as well. Apparently, the statistics say that this has been the fastest uptake of any technology ever. 100 million people have started using it within 2 months of it being rolled out. That's insane.
That's the GPT chat?
Yes. So, okay, let's take this call and then I'll continue after. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi, caller.
Yes, greetings, Island T.
Good morning.
Greetings. How are you doing?
I say, me don't like to finish what you said, but because me don't like to do that, me tell you the truth.
I like to be fair to the callers.
But certain thing. If you want to stop me. Give thanks for all the information flow this morning. We love it. Not all, when we say we love it, not all rosy and dandy, but information is important, out of this, we put together 13th of May, we put together a punchline what we like to share for an Island T. Yeah? We are all for hearing both sides of the story, or the third, the fourth, if necessary. Yeah, that's a punchline we create. And it's Island T give us the inspiration to do that. We have some verses we're going to add to that.
Thank you.
Okay. Read the tech craziness, the tech and people craziness, which are likened unto a new plague, amidst earth inhabitants. It reminds us of the chunks of sexual zombies in the earth, King Dwyer And Prince Jesse matter reminds us of another matter which has to do with the Prince, the Honorable PM, you know, slash his beloved mother. But before we share the same, let me quickly say, whole heap of police officers flexes in very irresponsible manner. Whole heap. No. At the Honorable PM ball, yeah, the Prince is dancing with his beloved mother, right? His dear friend and agent Rastau beg his ears for a moment. One away. Whilst that is happening, his beloved mother, right, being the joy-filled person she is, continue dancing, full joy in herself. Box outcome camera and share such private, personal moments with the entire world. And even calling her name, like you know, when somebody on stage and you say, yeah, go on, so and so, yeah. You know? Wow. Yes, someone present, yeah, like police officers and others, did that. You know, this is like onto the, it's like nastiness in a mind, mental, it's a mental thing. You know, that's what it is. It has to do with a mindset of persons with the instrument, not the instrument. Can be used for good purpose. Whatever the instrument may be, you know? Okay, hear the story. Christian from the UK is our friend. He is now living and working in Dubai. His wife living and working in Norway or somewhere nearby there, right? Being far apart, whatever the physical desire may be, he mistakenly sent me pics and videos of himself and his beloved wife sharing love. Right? Most people will say making love, but we can't make love. Love made us. And created us. So we share love. So, he did that. So why did we deleted and notify him immediately? Because our mindset is how it is. He explained, right? And shared the matter with his beloved wife. It was all good at the feeling of things. You see it? Something he said, something Christian said to us at the culmination of his eye. He said, Russ, shoot, outside of what my mom, his beloved mom called us a few minutes ago asking for our positive energy. She wished to sell her house and move from Manchester to a quieter area. Yes, sir. Wow. He said, Christian said, apart from my beloved mom, I can hardly count other persons I could have shared such private matters with. You know, we just smile. 800 billion people, everyone different. All in all, the solution to this techno people craziness problem, yeah? Which out of 9 mental illness disease is legislations and policies and execution of the same, right? Christian told us that it is illegal to make WhatsApp call or something WhatsApp in Dubai. Yeah. And memo. People, right? Spread of power got to make them and those make these decisions. Yeah. I want to see it by saying, Brother Vernon use a word during the interview this morning. The word he uses, until. We're going to echo that word. We're going to say that, you know, until we get the right faces in the right places.
Your favorite line. Thank you so much for your call.
We must have the right faces.
You come to the time, you know?
The right places.
Thank you. Have a good one today.
I like that. I like that.
Yes.
Okay, guys, let's take a quick break. Squeeze in some ads, and then we can come back and continue the conversation.
Okay,
We
yes.
have the Prime Minister's press conference
At 10
coming up at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dishes done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. I don't want a dirty sink. Keep pumping up with Quicks now. Clean that sink. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. Pump it up.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta. Drink the real Fruta. Your favorite real Fruta. The natural taste is Fruta. Fruta.
Your favorite fruit has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
I'm telling you, right? These VI rhythms, right? They're like, I'm telling you. It's like they took the SKN thing and just improved it. A Spectrum. Spectrum, man.
He's having a field day. Are we back?
Gotta let the beat breathe.
Yeah.
Oh,
So guys,
Such a DJ thing to say.
some of the things, and this is from Guyana. All cassava, and this is what Granny saying. Got this from Guyana. All cassava got same skin, but not taste the same.
Let me tell you.
Jamso, what do you think that means? All cassava got the same skin, but not taste the same.
You can't judge things by the cover.
No.
It's kind of same neighborhood.
No, but
Can't
if
judge a book
all
by its cover.
all cassava got the same skin, but all don't taste the same.
But it's the
Meaning
same thing.
we're all humans, but we're not the same. We all. Come
I'm
on.
saying the same thing,
No.
essentially.
No.
Am I not?
No.
Despite-
Because listen, there's poisonous cassava and there's cassava that you can eat.
Despite similarities, we're
Well, yeah,
all
but-
different. Despite our similarities, we are all different.
Isn't that kind of? Am I not in the same ballpark? I mean, even if I'm over by Victoria Road and you over by Park
I play
Range,
by Warner
aren't
Park.
we still in the same ballpark? Come on, man.
All cassava got same skin, but not taste the same.
Y'all what?
Despite our similarities, we are all different.
Caller, go ahead. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to the other
cassava
one.
get
Caller,
same
go right
skin,
ahead.
but
Oh,
all
wow.
not taste same way.
Yes.
You gotta say it in the
Okay.
accent.
Do it in accent, Candy. I should let her do it.
You mean
Do-
the Guyanese accent?
Yeah, do
I don't
it.
even know if I still have it.
Yeah.
All cassava got same skin, but all not taste same way. I
Yes.
don't think I have the accent anymore.
You know, it's funny. AZ sent me the article that we're using now, right? And when he showed me, he held up the phone and I saw a picture of a house. So I thought the house was.
The article.
I thought the house was. I didn't read it. I said, "Oh, is that the model?" That's what I said. Is
Yeah.
that the model house for
Yeah,
the
those
house?
are the mother houses.
Really?
Yes. That's the.
You were so behind on our chat, man.
Those are the smart houses at NHC.
Yeah, remember they had the thing this morning. Well, they're still happening.
Oh yeah, when I was coming on,
so
I
they
saw.
had the smart houses on display.
So somebody sent us.
We are
pictures.
encouraging persons, if you want to see these model homes, these smart houses,
Go out there.
Go out there, and their pictures circulating, and you
Because
get
it's from 8 to 6, right?
Yeah,
I think
you-
it ends at 6.
you
so
get to see the
Yeah.
smart houses on display.
Caller, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the call.
Mm.
Good morning, Jamsa.
Hey, what's up?
Azard and
Yes.
Candisie.
Good morning.
I just wanted to weigh in on the deviant behavior, the uptick in the deviant behavior.
Yes.
And I would say that it's very multifaceted, and some of it lend down to, down to like a copycat. For instance, in the bombing with the towers in New York City, you would have seen little after that persons would have attempted to do similar in smaller aircraft So there is a copycat fabric to it also. Once the environment has been set for this type of deviant way, once it's like an in thing, it will spread like wildfire, just like how people is on social media saying all sorts of things without any restriction. So just wanted to just put that plug in.
Thank you so much.
What I have seen, some of it is genuine. Some of it is below the surface. It was there pulverating for quite a while, but some of it lend down to copycat because everybody feel like it's an in thing. They want to feel hip. They want to be on social media saying what they want to say without any responsibilities, just like. So whereas a youth may not have walked with a knife in school before, he have gotten emboldened to walk with a knife. And walking with a knife, anything can happen, like the stabbing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that contribution. I guess we have to copycat now and put metal detectors in the school.
Hey, let's not necessarily take them in order. I saw a nice one, a Haitian one.
Yeah.
A beautiful few. Okay. Belantemo pavi di paradis. Whatever.
Okay,
close enough.
I'm trying my Creole.
Go for it, Jamster.
What?
Go for the saying.
Say it.
It says a beautiful funeral doesn't mean you're going to heaven. I like that one.
Listen, why would you pick that one? He's so morbid.
No,
you just pull that one out. Like they have like 20 something here.
Okay, so we now have to think about the meaning behind it.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, think about all the people who go over the top at the funeral, and it's by the $20,000 casket and a Brooks Brothers suit, and
not Brooks Brothers.
I'm just
you're right.
exaggerating to make the point.
Hello,
hey,
good morning.
Hello, caller.
Hey, go ahead.
Yes. I have a book of old sayings, local old sayings.
Yes.
Wow.
And there's one I particularly like. Not two of them. Pig asks his mother,
yes,
why her mouth is so long? She told him to wait for time.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think every Caribbean island says that.
There is another one that says, moonlight run until daylight catches.
Yes.
I lent out that book some time ago and I had difficulty getting it back.
I was just about to ask where you got it. And maybe we can get a copy from you. I love them.
Somebody printed. I lent somebody to print a copy, and I had help getting it back. So I am not inclined to really list it out.
I totally understand. Though
it has all of the old sayings in there. How those people used to teach the children and what they used to say to them.
Listen, I grew up here. My grandfather said, "Pig asked him, Mama, what make your mouth so long?" And he said, "Pick me up."
I think this one is a popular one,
It
right?
is. That's why I was saying maybe it is from every Caribbean island because it's here also here from Belize. Hog asked him, Mama, what make your out so long? His mama said, "No worry, child, you soon find out."
Same thing, basically.
Yes, it's the same thing.
But hear this one here.
Experience
I know,
teaches wisdom.
I know a lot of you probably said this. You can't make love pan hungry belly. And he's saying he came from Trinidad and Tobago.
I've heard that one though, but even that song that what's his name sung, "You're Looking for Horn." Right? Remember, he was like in the song. He mentions it in the song.
I think everyone knows that
she
one.
Want chicken and chips, and you're there watching her.
Love alone isn't enough when getting into a serious relationship. Love doesn't
believe
put food on the table.
You better believe it.
There's a Guyanese one, number
know that
13.
one.
You know that one?
Which one? Number 13. Let's see.
I like this one. Well, this
Cat
one.
catch rat, but teethy massa fish.
Yeah, I like that one.
I've never heard it.
Says good and evil often come from the same
Say it again
source.
for persons out there.
Cat catch rat.
But he teethy massa fish.
Yeah, good and evil come from. I like that makes sense. Meaning that the cat will catch.
He'll help you, but at the same time, if
but
you want,
don't run in the room to answer your phone, or you'll eat the salmon.
Good and evil often come from the same source. I like that you said that because this morning when Mr. Pell was speaking and he was saying that always generate towards good. In my head, it popped up that good and evil exist. You cannot ever get rid of evil. It just depends on what side you gravitate towards. You cannot have light if there wasn't darkness,
Yeah.
But you just gotta choose your battles wisely. Choose which side you want to gravitate towards.
Back to the phone. Caller, okay. And it so happens we have another right on that tier. Caller, go right ahead. Island T.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning.
The great people.
No, you. Just you.
Oh, man. I'm on the neat, man. You all ever hear this one?
Go ahead.
Let's hear.
Dog only know how small the bum is when you swallow bone.
Oh my God, no.
You know what I mean?
No, in culture, he made up that. But
No. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Concentrate, focus, take your time on what you're doing before you conclude.
Okay, culture. I got one for us. I got one for us.
Let me hear it.
You a swap black dog for monkey. You swap black dog for monkey.
That's something
which number is that?
This is a Jamaican one of the first four. You swap black dog for monkey. What do you think that mean? Culture.
You swapping a black dog for monkey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to get some seconds to think about that.
You give up one bad situation for another. Often referred to relationship. It's like you leave one bad relationship to go to a next one.
Yeah, swap black dog for monkey. Wow.
Because monkeys aren't necessarily bad. Black dogs aren't necessarily bad. So that one isn't as obvious.
But
you know what I mean?
It was kind of tricky. Like, I know my mom used to say, don't take me out of bread and can't give me biscuit.
Yeah.
It's like you leave one thing and you can't even go and get something else.
But go ahead.
Yeah, if you smell me kitchen, smell nice with onion, you say, wow, you cooking up a good food, pot of food. You only smell the onion frying, you know. When you come and look in the kitchen, see if any other food in the pot in there, but just the onion.
I remember you doing onion rings.
The onion is an impression.
Exactly.
Giving people the wrong impression that you cooking a pot of food and this time only onion in there.
Oh gosh.
You ain't got nothing else.
Look at this
onion
one.
Carry a high quick scent.
This one here. Big tree fall down, goat bitey leaf.
Oh, believe
Big
it.
tree fall down, goat bitey leaf.
That's a Guyanese one again.
Yeah. How you? Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm going now because somebody want to listen. But listen this.
I thought you were burning the onions.
Never boy animal when the lights are out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pig in bag.
So
you
big
go buy a
tree.
paint up cattle.
Pig in bag, yes.
Pig in bag.
Pig in bag is right.
Yes.
Pig in bag cover everything. You could buy a cattle. Well, look white in the night, and in the morning when you wake up, be black.
Let me tell you.
we ain't wash off the paint.
Yes.
Liz, thank you so much for your contribution.
Okay.
So,
Don't burn those onions.
Yes. So big tree fall down, goat bitey leaf. It simply means when the mighty fall on hard times, they are disrespected by all.
Anybody could bite it. Anybody bite your leaf.
Yeah.
So you know that
high
one?
in the tree, but when you fall down, even the goat eating your leaves there.
Yeah.
But while the tree is high and to the top, the leaves are up there.
Exactly.
So they don't have any Kitishan ones here?
That teaches you now, but that should humble you.
Yeah.
Because when you're up there, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stay up there.
Y'all realize most of them are like the big, all of them are the big. I don't see any from Antigua.
They got one from Antigua.
It's all like Haiti.
I saw the one from Antigua. I was actually scrolling down looking for one from St. Kitts.
The one from Antigua and Barbuda is moon run fast, but they catch 'em.
Yeah.
Hello?
I think we use that here
She
too.
just
Go ahead.
said it. The lady just
Yeah.
said it.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
good morning.
Go ahead.
You can't catch monkey and make noise.
Exactly.
You can catch monkey
And make noise.
and make noise.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
How
What?
you gonna catch the monkey if you're making noise?
Oh.
You gotta be quiet.
So you mean your
that's
strategy?
one of
Your strategy
ours.
has to be on point if you want to
Catch the monkey.
Yeah, catch the monkey.
I like that one.
Don't count egg in full bottom.
Yeah, don't
count your chickens
and before they hatch. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Call or go right ahead.
I never see win till four bottom. Never see four bottom till win go.
Yes.
Exactly, I like that one.
Yeah, a old one and a new one. You can call it the new one, I think it's one. The old one is prevention better than cure.
Amen.
Yes.
New one is when Lizards are around, fly cannot be found. That's the new one.
Yes. Listen
that
this.
one is interesting.
Listen this one. Dirty water, cool hot iron. Everything has a purpose, even the dirty water.
The humblest thing can be the most timely thing to resort to, I guess.
Still don't like
lizards. Still don't like lizards. Yeah. Let me see. When picnic, what? Oh, Belize. Oh, they have Belize too. Oh.
Listen, have you ever heard the Belizean dialect?
Better fish in the sea than what get catch.
I love it.
Better fish in the sea than what get catch.
Is it though?
Yeah.
That sounds like grass always green on the other side to me.
He's saying
Yeah,
there's always
kind of.
a better option.
Is it though?
Yeah.
I had a terrible. I don't know if I told you. I told you all about the centipede story.
Oh gosh, no.
I didn't tell you all about that.
No.
Yeah, that was that kind of a twisted version of that. I'm not making this up. I was literally walking home. I went running, I think, and it was about 3 weeks ago. And I literally I saw one dead down the street when I was coming, and I was thinking about, man, the biggest centipede I ever saw was in my house, my very own house. And later that night now, I'm in the study, right? I look off to the right. A centipede that dwarfed that one.
Wow.
Was on the wall. I had to call my daughter just because I was like, somebody has to see this. Like, they're not going to believe me. So I called her. I said,
She started screaming.
no, she didn't.
Okay.
So I called her and I said, look at that. I said, that's even bigger than the other one I killed. And two of them in my house. That was, you don't want to say, listen, it had to be at least 8 inches long. And it was thick. Oh my
Funny enough, I'm not really scared of them, but
Oh, man.
So
yeah, I'm not scared of them either, but they really bug me.
They have a purpose.
They have a
I
purpose,
like this
I guess.
One. You can do as you like, but not for as long as you like. I grew up hearing my mother with that one. But she usually adds an extra word. You can do as much as you want, but not for as long as you want. Right? And it's basic. I mean, it kind of goes without saying. Some people love to complain and will complain about, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Everyone has a breaking point. I like to believe that nothing lasts forever. So you could do as much as you want, but not for as long as you want. Moon run till they catch it.
All fish does bite, but shark does get the blame. All fish does bite, but shark does get the blame.
This is true.
Yeah, all fish does bite, but only the shark does get the blame.
Once you're bad, you're bad.
Yeah, it says those with a history of bad behavior will always be the first one accused.
All fish bite, but shark is the only one getting the blame.
Okay, guys, it's
this was nice.
Yeah. Okay, 1 minute to 9. We have the Prime Minister's press conference coming up at 10.
The last one then.
Yeah, go
was
ahead.
sweet in a goat mouth, sour in bam bam.
What sweet and good about
sour in a bam bam.
Exactly.
You actually know that song, Azard?
I was just going along with you guys.
That's not true.
No.
Redeem yourself. You don't know that song?
Ain't a calypso or something.
Soca song
It's
from
a
the
very
80s.
old song. Yeah. It may
What-
seem nice
Yeah,
now.
it may seem nice now.
But you're going to pay the consequences later.
Yeah. Was sweet in goat
Monarch
mouth,
must
sour
be
in
smiling
bam
now.
bam.
When he heard me do that. Monarch probably smiled
I
it
like
out
that
like
song. I've known it forever. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Island Tea. I trust that the person that's in the hospital, the young man that's in hospital, I hope he gets well soon. And prayers go out to the family of all the persons involved in the altercation. Because I still think that, rehabilitation can occur. So prayers up for the family. I think we all just need to take a step back and re-examine society and see how best we can move forward in the right way, in a positive, progressive way.
Yes. Okay. Well, guys, nice show again. Gotta say, 10 o'clock. We have the Prime Minister's press conference coming up. And apparently I'm in the hot seat for that as well. So
Stay tuned.
Okay,
yes.
Stay tuned.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yes,
Stick and
definitely.
stay.
All right, bye.
Have a good one today.